Hey guys, Top 5 here with episode number 34 of the Crystal Palace Career Mode on FIFA 23. Kicking it off at Selhurst Park, we're taking on Manchester United. Currently, we're sitting second in the league, United are third. They're quite a few points behind us though. It is right now a two-horse race between ourselves and Liverpool. We are 2 points behind them, so they slip up in any kind of way, we'll jump them in the league. But this game actually gets off to a very, very quick start with Xavi Simons scoring the first goal to put us 1-0 to the good. And for the beginning, I want to talk about the team we have built here, because we started this whole career mode. We struggled to score. It was a really difficult attack that we had. Obviously, we kind of found our rhythm somewhat with Zaha when we put him up striker, and that kind of moulded the team and where it's gone. But I remember the first few episodes, Zaha on the left, we had Ayew, we were just trying to rotate between all the strikers. There was Mateta, Edouard, just trying to find an option that would score us goals. And now, we're the top goal scorers in the league by quite a few. We have one of the best defences in the league. That was completely different. If you remember, in the first season, we ended second worst defence behind just in front of Brentford, who are in the relegation zone. So that has improved drastically. But yeah, now on the pitch we have two midfielders, are reliable goal scorers in Eze and Fletcher. Hudson-Odoi bangs in the goals. Olise on the right hand side, he bangs in quite a lot of goals as well. And then obviously Martial, who was set to break the record last year before that ACL injury. He's come back. He's got 7 goals in 12, I think, in the league this season. So there's goals there. On the bench, we've got Obafemi to get us goals. Xavi Simons already scored here against United. And you just look at the replay there. Brahim Diaz, we headed it straight to him. Anywhere but there. And we would still be winning this game 1-0. But yeah, the attack is on another level in this team. There's 2 original Crystal Palace players in the starting 11. No, sorry, 3 original Crystal Palace starting 11 players in the starting team so far. Still, and we're still performing at this level. That is Olise, Eze, and Mitchell. 3 OGs still in the team, and we're second place with them in the team. So we didn't have to do too much change. But the addition of Tomori there's 4. Captain Mark Guehi. So 4 out of the 11 are original Season 1. As soon as you open up the save, they're already on Palace. 4 of them are still in the starting 11, which is really, really cool to see. And we've kind of made minor additions here or there. We've tweaked some bits. We've signed some players and then sold them already. And I think this team has worked out really, really, really nicely. Obviously, we're playing on ultimate difficulty right now. Either halfway through this season we'll have a little progress report. We are approaching the January window, so that'll be when we have a little report, or next season when we, hopefully, if we win the league, join a new team in this current save file. Odds are we're probably going to go to the Bundesliga, or I think the Bundesliga is the one we want to go to. We've always done a Bundesliga career mode on this channel, at least one per year. So that's probably where we're going to go, unless we leave that to a separate save and we go to Serie A or La Liga. We haven't done La Liga in a while. So La Liga or Serie A, that's maybe where we go, because we like to have that separate save file for the Bundesliga save. But right now, we've got to focus on the league. As I said, we're second place in the league, 2 points behind Liverpool. There's a big gap between ourselves and third place, so we slip up, we're not going to really be too worried about slipping out of the Champions League. It's just slipping out of that title race. Can we compete? Can we keep up with Liverpool? Do we have the squad rotation capabilities to keep up with them? And you've seen in this game, Aribo's playing, Richards is playing, Ola Aina, Matson, obviously Doucouré is in the first team now, but Riedewald, we can just slot him in, and it's a perfect little replacement there. But we're 3-0 up in this one. The goal scoring is on showcase once again in this one, and it's really good to see. the main thing was this team is maybe one of the best kind of low mid-table teams to top table teams I've built. Obviously, the West Brom career mode was insane. We signed Havertz, we signed Vinicius Jr., I think we signed Mbappe at one point. We had Tonali, we had Reece James before he was a major popularity. But yeah, we had a world-class team at West Brom. That's probably the top team we've ever built on the channel. Maybe the Wolfsburg team as well, because we had Osimhen in that team. We had Jonathan Davids. We had a couple of 94, 93 rated players in that team. That was during COVID, and that was a really nice team as well. But I think in the Premier League, kind of starting from one of those kind of lower to mid-table teams, like a Palace, this is probably the best team we have built. Obviously, the Fulham team we built last season was brilliant. We've had a couple of really well-built teams. And I think something about the way we build teams is we try not to use players multiple times. And I don't think I've signed Hudson-Odoi in the first team before. I've never used Elise before. Martial I've never used before. So, Tomori, never used him before. I think we might have actually got him at West Brom. I'm not 100% on that, so that might be a lie. But keep it fresh. I like to keep it fresh with the players we use, and hopefully you're fans of that. But we come into this game against Spurs. We've got United. We've had Spurs in this episode. We've won every game so far, quite convincingly in some cases. Against... no, we didn't. We lost to Spurs. No, we drew. Sorry, we were 2-0 up, I think, against Spurs, and we drew 2-2 near the beginning of this season or the end of last season. So we've actually not won every game against Spurs. I think Spurs are the one team, the one top 6 team that we actually have a positive kind of goal difference against. United, I think we maybe just as well, but definitely don't against Liverpool. We definitely don't against City. Arsenal, we probably don't either, just because in that first season we got absolutely smashed by them. But Spurs, United maybe, and Chelsea, I think we actually have a decent record against them in terms of goals scored. So when we put that first goal in, things were good. Things were looking good for us, because we know we can score against this Spurs team, and the pressing relentlessly there from Martial. Wins back the ball, wins back possession, the die-hard, never-give-up attitude. We find him in the box, and he slots it past his fellow countryman in Hugo Lloris. 2-0 to Crystal Palace. Bish, bash, bosh. These are the kinds of games we want to be winning. We're a top 6 team now. We've proven it last season when we got into the Champions League, and we've solidified it this season now that we're second place. We have built a top 6 team here at Crystal Palace, which is really good to see. And we could be faced with the fact that the only season we get to use this kind of super team that we've built is this season, because we'll be moving on if we win the league. Now, the Champions League, that is coming up after this Spurs game. But I will say, there is a possibility, if we lose this next game, and Porto win and PSG win, we go into the Europa League. That, in a realistic fashion, would maybe put a bit of pressure on a manager in the situation we're in. I didn't realise that until after I highlighted it. I played the highlights. But when I looked back on the table, yeah, if we had lost this game, PSG had won their game, we would have been knocked into the Europa League game. Not into the Europa League. I think they go into the first knockout round if you go from the Champions League into the Europa League. But thankfully, our man Alexander Fletcher, straight down the middle, made it 1-0 to Crystal Palace with 4 minutes remaining at the Dragao. Porto into the Europa League, ourselves and PSG through to the knockout rounds of the Champions League. Not only that, but we finish top of this group. We beat PSG once, we drew to them the other time, and that let us top this group, which is really good to see. In our first Champions League outing against a top opposition, we finished top, which is brilliant. And we're actually playing a newly promoted team here to end off today's episode. Stoke are back in the Premier League, the Bet365 Stadium. I thought it was called that. Apparently it's called the Stoke City. It's probably gambling sponsor stadium. They probably can't call it that on a 3 rated game. But you can see there, top left hand corner, 43 goals in 15 games. That's what I'm talking about with this attacking output. And we don't stop scoring goals in this game against Stoke. I can tell you that now. Early chance from Martial, well saved by their keeper, but we're relentless. We keep up the attack. And 11 minutes in, Eze, probably the only player I would bring with me to the next club we join is probably going to be Eze. Just purely for the fact he can play all across the front line. He can play in the midfield. And he's probably been the cult hero of this career mode, I think. I think he's been that player, that unsung hero. Zaha in the first season got the goals, whatever. Eze was the one providing. Second season, Eze, along with Martial, was probably our 2 best players that season, but Martial had that wonder year, just outshadowed Eze. This season, he's come back from his injury, and he's kind of lost his position to Hudson-Odoi. He's lost his position maybe to Elise as well, and to Martial, so he's had to drop back into the midfield. But he's done it, he's not complained, and he's still getting goals, he's still providing assists. He's the unsung hero in this career mode, and I will bring him with me wherever I go next. I can guarantee you that. I'm not going to bring Fletcher, I'm not going to bring Martial or Hudson-Odoi or anyone. I'm going to let them live out the rest of their career naturally. More often than not, they leave the club when you leave as well, move to a bigger team. But yeah, Eze, we're bringing him with us. I can guarantee you that now. That is a fact. As we're 4-0 up here against Stoke, Martial, a little cheeky chip off of their kickoff. We won the ball, played him through, chipped it, bang, 4-0. Not even 40 minutes into this game, we're cruising. We love playing these newly promoted teams because they just don't defend properly. Like, they still have the championship kind of level players in their team, and with our 86 rated, our 84, our 83, and our 80, Eze's only an 80 rated, but he's world class. We can just dominate them, and we can bag in loads of goals, and it helps the goal difference out a lot, especially when we very rarely concede in these games because we're attacking so much. They just don't have the chance to get forward and attack us. Until Edwards is played through, 88 minutes into the game, through to Brown. He slots it into the back of the net, and we lose our clean sheet in the final 30 seconds of the game, unfortunately. But that is the way the cookie crumbles. That is how this episode is going to end. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please like, subscribe, and peace.